Right there, everyone. How's it going? So, today I am here with Billy. He's been in a few.
Yo.
He's been in a few podcasts before. He was in the mental health one, and he was in the what was that other one? We talked about space and stuff, but we only recorded like 12 minutes of it. So, but he was in that one.
Yeah, I remember that one, yeah.
Yeah, and we talked
It
about.
was Area 51, I think.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, because everyone was going mad about Area 51 at the time, and they was like, "Oh, me and the boys are gonna raid Area 51, way!" And it was just like a load of crap. But yeah, and we talked about space and Vidal Riley, but didn't record. So there you go. But today I'll be questioning Billy about mental health during the lockdown because
This virus going around and that.
yeah, I mean.
And before anything, yeah, everyone stay indoors and stay safe. Don't meet anyone, like, unexpectedly or anything, like, honestly, don't.
Yeah, 100%,
Like,
man.
there's some ungrateful people out there that's been doing it and it's been annoying. So don't do it, guys.
It's been quite irritating, really, because I remember right before the lockdown, there was pictures on Facebook of, like, the local town group, you know, like, the place where we all live. And loads of people was going to pubs and partying and having massive barbecues, and it's like, what is going on? What are these people doing? You should have done this weeks ago, you know. You should, I mean, the lockdown was predictable, man. The lockdown was really predictable, you know, people.
I think we should, all I'm just saying, the government should have done it way earlier. Just to save it off, but I'm not going into politics until another time. It should have been way earlier, but, you know.
Yeah, we don't get political on the podcast, but if the guests want to say their opinions, then try and keep it to a minimum, I guess. But, yeah. So, anyway, first question. Oh, wait, no, I was just going to say one last thing quickly. We won't just be talking about the lockdown, we'll talk about some other stuff as well.
Yeah.
The thing is, I just want to say quickly, though, the reason why I wanted to do this was mainly because Billy wanted to do it, and also, a lot of normal people, not normal, but like people with no mental health issues are getting bored and getting really, really agitated in the lockdown.
And to be honest, a lot of people as well that don't have it have actually started to get mental health because of their jobs and whatever, but we'll talk about that further into the podcast and whatever.
Yeah. But the point I was just going to make is, like, if normal people, not normal, but like if people with no mental health issues are getting really wound up, it made me think, bloody hell, how do people with real mental health issues feel, you know, mental health feel? It's like, bloody hell, because they can't get any distractions or anything. They're just stuck inside, and I just can't imagine how people who are on their own feel. Because if you live on your own, at least beforehand, you can go out, go to the gym, do whatever. But now it's like, I don't know, just phone call people and FaceTime people, I guess. But bloody hell, it must be hard. Anyway, first question. So, has being stuck inside during the lockdown a lot affected your mental health in any way?
It's been a lot boring because obviously I go to college and that, and then I did have a part-time job before all this happened and that, and it has affected that because now I can't do any of that, so I'm not getting anything. But with college and that, like, it's nice to mix with friends and everything at college and have a good laugh, and that really does help mental health and that massively.
Yeah.
Even when you're at work, like, your mind's off your mental health and that, and you just go into a different mindset. Like, I have a mindset when I'm at college and when I'm at work, so I'm not thinking too much about it. So, to be honest, with me, it hasn't really affected me, but I've thought about a load of other stuff that I can do with my life, like after lockdown and everything, and how I can improve in work and everything like that. So, to me, it's been like a learning curve, I guess.
That's a really good way to look at it. So, would you say, like, you said about college being good and talking to people and working part-time, that's like a routine. Would you say routines are good then for mental health?
Getting into a routine is the main thing about mental health. Like, if you haven't got a routine, you won't keep it stable. Because if you, like, do different hours or wake up different hours, like, every day and stuff like that, the routine eventually gets messed up and that will trigger mental health.
Because they say...
Because I'm still used to waking up at the same time. I wake up at the same time every day still.
What time you up?
So around about 6, 7.
Bloody hell, bro.
Yeah, That's normal time, like normal time.
But in the lockdown, man, you got to take advantage of these, nice lines.
Yeah, but if you don't, your sleeping pattern's gonna go all over the place.
Do
Which I've
you?
had a load of people tell me about their sleeping pattern's been absolutely awful.
Yeah, but to be honest,
I stuck to it, and like because I've got a part-time job and everything, I've got to stick to it. So when I do go back to work, I've still got that sleeping pattern to go back to, and still got it.
that is a
Do you know
really
what I mean?
that is a really good attitude. So you're going to bed early, like around 10 or half
No,
10.
I don't. I'll go to bed late.
Oh bloody hell! So you still go to bed late, but you get up
Yeah,
really early.
about 11. I'll go to bed about half 10, 11, which is normal for me, to be honest.
That's not, yeah. If that's what you usually do, then that's not too bad. I mean, if you're getting up at 7, 11's not too bad. Half 10's not too bad. But if you're up
Yeah.
at like 6, that's like oof,
No, I don't go to bed early because that's horrible.
Fair enough, man. To be honest, I just want to give a bit of quick advice with like sleeping patterns. Just have some wine right in the middle of the day, or have a load of beer in the middle of the day. Then go to sleep around 7, and then you'll wake up at like 5 the next day. So that's all right. I know it's a bit mental, but like you'll be well rested, and you won't be able to sleep because of the because your body's like you're in agony because of the hangover and whatever. So then you just get up, and then you just
By
get
the
up.
way, anyone underage, we're not advising you to actually steal your parents' drinks or anything.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah. Ooh.
Just a disclaimer: don't. We're at the age where we can drink, but if you're under the age of 18, don't do it.
Yeah, good disclaimer. I genuinely forgot about that. All I will say then, if you're under 18, what you need to do is days before.
Parents' permission, to be honest.
No, don't drink. Right. Days before you have to go to work, go to bed really early, and then get up really early, like a couple
Or a
days
week before or 2 weeks before, just get used like the sleeping pattern. Just get used to it, like 2 weeks before, and then you'll slowly get into it as the days go by.
Yeah. So do you get up early on like before this happened? Did you always get up early on weekends?
Yeah,
then?
I used to always get up early as well.
You never ever lied in.
No,
Is it-
because to me, if you lie in, you're wasting your life away and you're wasting the days away. Like if you get up early, you can do stuff, and like you've got a nice mindset, so you can have a nice drink on the morning. Watch a few YouTube videos and get your mind active and like ready to work. You know what I mean?
That is a really good attitude, but I suppose it depends what you're doing throughout the day. If you have to go shopping or
If it's someone, all I'm just saying, if it's someone that works through the night and come back and go to bed, like, that's not for you. Like, dude, you've got a different routine. But this is only my routine, so everyone's routine's different.
yeah.
So,
Don't you ever? So you don't need much sleep then? You never need a lie, and you can't like lie there and relax sort of.
no, I can't lie. Like, lying's not for me.
There are some people like that, to be fair. So do you feel tired when you get up, or are you just like, or
No.
so
It's just normal. It's just like waking up normal for me. Like,
so you just wake up, your eyes feel fine, and you just get on with your day. That's really good, man. It's good to
well,
have.
don't get up straight away because obviously I do a drink first and like do all the stuff.
Do a cup of tea, and then you get up.
Yeah.
Fair enough, bro. Fair enough. So, like, I'll mention routines, right? Not having a routine at the moment, because you said, you have anxiety as well as depression.
Yeah.
Has not having a routine, not having to go places, made your anxiety relax a bit more? Or has it still been bang on the same?
Well, you feel kind of relaxed because you don't have to worry about like work or college and stuff like that, and obstacles you have to get over during the day. Because then you just sit and think like how you can improve life or how you can improve on like little things really that you on your mind that day.
Yeah. Fair dues, man. So, what... like how there's so many people getting ill, there's so many people around the world who are dying or seriously ill. Has that affected your mental health much? Or are you just sort of like trying to not think about it, or?
Well, in a sense, like, this is like going off the subject of the whole thing, but like, in a sense, I've always had that mindset is if you're meant to get it and you're meant to get it, and if you're meant to die from it, you're meant to die from it. Like, that's my mindset.
So you feel like when things happen to people, it's sort of like their time to go, basically.
Yeah, it's sort of for a reason.
Yeah.
And obviously, anyone who's watching this don't actually take me serious. Like, I'm just putting up my point of view in life, and everything that happens to you as a person, to anyone. Say, like me, yeah. Say if I got up one morning, and then obviously I got knocked down by a car. Like, obviously, that's meant to happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's other factors in it too. Maybe the driver was going too fast. You might have been in the wrong place at the wrong time. But I sort of get where.
I always say whatever happens in life is happened for a good reason. And some reasons, like if you make a mistake on something, some reasons you get good, like you get a good overcome, because then you can turn that around and learn something new from what you did wrong. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean. Oof.
So if you made a mistake on something in school or in life or in general anything, you can then turn that around and then learn from it and not to do it again, so you can do the better thing that you should have done in the first place.
Yeah, but obviously there are some mistakes you can't afford to learn, like driving the car around the down the wrong lane of the motorway. Just stuff like that, really. But obviously
as I said, as well with me, I tend to look at it like this. This lockdown is like a learning curve for me and probably some other people, because you learn to know who's your real friends and who, you know what I mean?
Yeah, very true. Yeah, very true indeed.
So basically, like, I've had loads of friends message me, and I've had loads of people that haven't messaged me, which I don't think are true people, to be honest.
I feel like with that though, at the end of the day, I'm not saying you have to, but I feel like more people should put themselves out there, because not just you, Billy, but other people have complained to me in the past and said, like, I've said, why don't you talk to this person? And then they've been like, well, they don't talk to me, screw them. And I'm like, well, why don't you put yourself out there first? So maybe 50% of the time put yourself out there for someone, but then the other 50% think, are they going to
but then I think they take the advantage of that. Then they think, oh, he's going to do this first for me all the time. Like, he's going to take advantage for that.
But yeah, but what if they're thinking the same about you, though?
But you know you're not in the wrong.
I guess.
It works both ways, but anyway.
I suppose, but the thing is, sometimes you get people who say, oh, how are you? And then you say, yeah, I'm good. And then they're going about themselves for like 20 minutes. So even if they're like acting like they're bothered about you, and then they say, how are you? Then they're going about themselves for like 50 minutes or whatever, are they really, even though they're making the effort to message you, if they're not taking an interest in what you're doing, are they still good mates, even though they're bothering to message you?
See, that's the thing, like, with people, like, if they go on about themselves or self, like, they don't want to really know about you, they just pop up for you just because they're out of boredom or just out of curiosity, just to know what you're doing. And to make sense, like, that's all I'm doing it for.
Yeah.
So basically, they're using you because they haven't got other people that's messaging them, basically.
That's quite a solid point. Fairly solid.
So that's my overall of lockdown, really.
Yeah, I've got a few more questions though. So, have you got any coping mechanisms in this lockdown for mental health?
Well, just keep your mind active every day. Like, that's all, really.
Okay.
So basically, like, if you're someone that, like, goes to the gym and that, yeah, try and do some own workouts on YouTube and that. Like, there's plenty of videos on there. Just try and do some own workouts and that, and stay safe. And obviously, you're allowed to go out for, like, exercise. So just go out for a day for, like, an hour run or something like that, and just keep your mind active. And, like, every day, try and see if you can go further for your goal.
Solid point, man.
And then, like, as I said before, another thing is, like, if you have college work and that, do some of that, like, each and every day to keep your mind active. like me, I've been playing a load of Xbox. I've been playing on Nintendo Switch. I've been thinking about stuff and all that, and like it's actually made life a lot easier and a lot, a lot more sense.
Yeah, yeah. Good point. Are there any good things about lockdown in your opinion, like spending time with your family and having a bit of a rest?
Well, some family you can't see, which makes it hard for us. But like, if you're stuck in the house with family and that, like, I think it brings you more closer to them. So like, where your normal routine, like you're out at work and then they're doing what they're doing in the house and that, and then you come back, like you don't see them half the time. So if you're stuck in the house with them during the lockdown, and that, I think it brings your family closer and closer together, and you can bond a lot more.
Fair dues. Have you had like, any guilty pleasures or addiction during this lockdown, being stuck inside all the time?
Not really, no, because it just depends what you mean by addictions, because anything can be addicting.
Just anything then, or?
No, not really.
That's good then. Because obviously the majority of people, they're just like addicted to social media. A lot of people are addicted anyway, but like they're really addicted now, and you just see them on their apps loads and loads and loads, or just.
Oh, I don't. See, I try to like distance myself away from them when I'm doing other things.
That's really good, man.
So when I'm out, I don't go on social media or anything. But if I'm inside, I'll kind of go on and off it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like going on and off it and that.
Yeah. What do you think of like these celebrities who complain and moan and say, "Oh, I'm stressed and feeling anxious in this time," but they live in like massive mansions?
Well, with the celebrities and everything that live in massive mansions and everything, like obviously, I think most of them are just doing it for attention. Because they've got massive mansions, some of them's got built-in gyms, some of them's got swimming pools, some of them's got their big garden, they can play football in, they can play probably like basketball, baseball, you name it, like they can do anything. Like, I just think it's for attention.
Yeah. Probably, because the thing is, if you're feeling this way, why would you spam it on social media all the time? Crazy, innit?
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy.
Like, I really do appreciate as well, like, celebrities that donate into the NHS and everything. Like, that is a really good point. Like, that is really good of them.
It is good. Again, this is nothing, I'm not trying to be against celebrities or anything, but if you donate to any charity whatsoever, I don't see why you need to bang on about it on social media, I think...
Yeah, but I think what it is, some of the news and some of the, like, the artists and everything think bad of these celebrities and that. So if they've done something good, it brings a bit of like good news in the actual news, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So instead of the news being all bad and everything, it's be like, oh yeah, so and so donated today and all that. It'd bring a lot of joy to the news instead of being all bad.
But a lot of the news I've watched, they haven't talked about celebrities doing that. It's just mostly been celebrities sucking themselves off on social media and saying, "I've done this, look at me," which is still good of them. But there's I can think of a handful of people who have donated to the NHS and they don't bang on about it all the time, and they're regular people. Some of them have barely any money, so
yeah.
But I guess donating, even if they're banging on about it, is better than no donation at all. So. Could be worse, It's good of them to. It is good of them to do it, but like, what do you think about people, using their mental health as an excuse to break lockdown rules?
Just shit, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because like, it's no excuse. You must do what the government says for your own good and for everyone else's own good.
Yeah, everyone's safety.
I mean, yeah, it's hard times for everyone. Like, a lot of us, some of us are on our own. Some old people haven't got no one. Some of us, like, can't go to work and they've had to have, like, this, like, pay. So some small businesses are closing down. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. Like, it's just a load of rubbish.
Which is gutting, really. Like, I feel like, bro, some of the pubs that are owned like by Stonegate or Marston's, they'll be fine. But standalone pubs that are just like standalone, they'll be screwed, man. They might get shut down. You know. Or like Witherspoon's pubs, they'll be fine, obviously. So yeah. What type of YouTube videos have you been watching during lockdown? Like what type and what specific YouTubers as well?
I've been watching all sorts really, like, because I watch the Spider-Man a lot, and then I watch Warzone videos because I'm into Warzone at the moment. So.
Do you watch it on Twitch or YouTube?
YouTube.
Oh, okay, bro.
I don't go onto any streaming platforms, to be honest. I just find it boring after a bit.
So you prefer like montages or best moments?
Nah, just to watch like an old playthrough.
But trust me, bro.
Some YouTubers like Vicstar and Miniminter and Bazinga and all that, they stream their games and everything, but like they've also got a separate channel which has like one game they did really good in and I put them on there, so I basically just watch that.
Fair dues, bro. Anything else then? Any other types of content? Any creative content like animations or podcasts or skits?
No, I don't really watch. As I say, like not many people are doing podcasts at the moment.
Yeah, apart from us.
Yeah.
Nah.
Because we're the Lockdown Gang podcast, everyone. We're the Lockdown podcast.
Pretty much, yeah. The problem is with a lot of people's podcasts is that the really big ones usually rely on famous people coming on. Not always, but sometimes. And also, they usually rely on, like, face-to-face things, the big ones. So, like, all 3 or 4 or 5 or however many people are on the podcast all sit in the room and look at the camera and whatever, and they have loads of mics set up. But obviously, the way we do it, we've never done a podcast in person. We always do it, like, over the phone or whatever. It's just easier.
I mean, if you guys wanted to, we could do one where you could show our face cams and shit.
I would like Aaron could record it on Google Hangouts or something.
Yeah, that would be good.
But yeah, might do a live one day. Depends really. If the podcast ever reached like superstardom, it'd be cool to try and buy a small studio and like record there. But that's a long way off, and who knows if that'll ever happen.
Yeah, who knows, man.
Like the thing is, I don't like because a lot of people are like, when you try and aim high, people are like, oh, you're too ambitious. But like, I've got the mindset, bro, that anything can happen, man. Like, I think all the good things could happen. I think, nothing could happen or bad things could happen. That's what I try and think to myself. Because, say if the channel blew up or whatever, like, if you're not prepared for that, you might be careless on your videos. You might say something stupid and think something really bad and offend. Well, not, it could happen. You could say something really bad and then you might think, oh, no one's going to ever see this. It's never going to get big. But what if you, became massive, and then people saw this bad thing you said? And what if you're not prepared for fame? That's
true.
So that's sort of the way I see it, really. Even though it's unlikely that we'd ever get massive, you still should.
It's like me, because I'm a mechanic and everything. Like, I think now, because I'm a part-time job shit, all I'm thinking is, will he phone me back to have me back, or will I not have a job? You know what I mean? So really, it's a win-win situation, innit?
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to pay part-time work as well, they're off, do they? They don't have to, like, furlough them or anything.
No.
They just pay the full-time people. So I'd imagine they'd get rid of the full-time people first, because that's what's costing them money.
Yeah, so hopefully I do have this job, which I'm really hope that I do.
Fingers crossed for you, bro, but, you've done mechanics for 3 years. I've never seen you do mechanics, but from what you've told me, you're a half-decent mechanic. You know a lot about cars. I think you could
And also, like, for my birthday last week, my mum bought me a car, so I'm doing stuff with that.
4K 2001.
Yeah.
Have you, like, driven it anywhere with someone sitting in the car with you? Or?
No, not yet, no.
Oh,
so
okay.
I can't really, can I?
Oh, yeah.
So...
Not at the moment, because obviously no one in your family can, like, drive, can they? So, at the moment.
Yeah.
So. But, what, is it a good car then, would you say?
Yeah.
Nice, man. I mean,
pretty decent, to be fair. Like, because, like, it's done low mileage and that, and, like, if I look after it and everything, it will be a decent car, and it is going to be a decent car, because I make sure it is.
Yeah, well, the thing is, being a good mechanic really helps. Like, I know people who aren't proper mechanics, and they do up, like, really old cars, and they can keep them for themselves, and it lasts them for years and years because they do it up. So they might spend 200 or 300 or 400 quid, and by the time they're finished with it, it's worth a few grand. You know? So imagine what a really good mechanic could do to it, you know.
Yeah.
Alright then, well, final question. Final thoughts and overall advice, if you've got any.
The overall advice really is to stay safe, stay active, like even if it's like setting yourself goals every day, like as I said, you can go out for an hour run or something like that. If you want to, you can go further every day and like test yourself, test your mindset and test yourself every day, like what you can do and what you want to achieve and what, and like just what you aiming to do. And then, like, if you want to do workouts at home, just do that. And, like, if you can do, say, if you do 10 press-ups, like, 3 sets of 10, like, if you want to do 20, 3 sets of 20, aim for that. Like, no one's stopping you to do it. Like, only you can do it.
Well, fair comment then. So, Bill, do you want to talk about sports now then? How sports have been cancelled?
Well, I just want to say, like, obviously with all this, like, a lot of sports have been affected, like boxing, football, racing sports have been affected. Because I watch Formula E, that's been affected.
Is that any good?
You know, it's basically just electric cars and that, and like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty decent. You have to get it. You have to really be interested to get into it.
Okay. I used to love Formula 1, man, but
It's not Formula 1. This is like Formula E. So
no,
basically,
but it's still racing,
it's like
isn't it?
But it's a bit different.
But what made me lose interest in Formula 1 though was it's just Vettel kept winning all the time, and I was like, man, it's just the car. It's not his skill. Even the owner of Formula 1, I think his name's Ecclestone, even he said, like, if all the cars were the same speed, Alonso would just win all the time, you know. But, and it's just hard for me to get interested in it now. I'm just, you know. But yeah, so they've had to call off a lot of Formula E then, and football and boxing.
Yeah, and literally we had big fights coming up this year as well.
Very true, yeah.
Because Joshua's going to face
Pulev.
What's his name now? Tyson Fury. But that's never happening this year.
No, it was originally going to be Pulev at first, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Ryan Garcia was meant to fight Jorge Linares, and I was like,
oh yeah.
I was like so gutted, man. I was like, oh man, I reckon he's going to be the next big thing, Ryan Garcia, bro. I reckon he's going to fly through.
To be fair, he's actually a really good boxer. I've watched some of his boxing fights, like, he's actually decent.
Bro, for his size, man, being able to floor these dudes, it's insane. Like, you don't see many knockouts at 135 the way he does it. Like, the knockout over I can't remember his name, Francesco Trinaldo or whatever his name is. The counter hook was just, and he knocked him out cold. That's like one of the best knockouts I'd ever seen, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he'd fly through Jorge Linares. He'd have a bit of a hard time with Luke Campbell, because if you saw how well Luke Campbell did against Lomachenko, you know, he beat him a little bit, so. But obviously Lomachenko was the better man. But I feel like Ryan Garcia would probably knock him out in 7 or 8. Then he'd probably go through Gervonta Davis in a couple of rounds, because Gervonta just always, he's a come-forward fighter, and I feel like Garcia's just got some of the best counters in the 135 division. And then he'd fight Lomachenko, and I reckon Garcia, I hope he can beat him. I think he will. I'll put my money on him, you know. I think he'll do it. But yeah, enough about that though. Obviously, MMA events have been cancelled as well. As you say, the football. A lot of people are upset that the Premier League's off, aren't they?
Yeah, a lot of people are really off, but it is what it is, to be honest. Like I said, we'll all come back as a nation, strong and bold, and like we'll have a cure for it soon, hopefully.
Fingers crossed, man.
And then you got that big event coming up from like 75 years for the Second World War, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got that big event coming up. Like a lot things were going to happen for that, but that's been cancelled. So everyone's kind of celebrating it in their own house. So
yeah, I mean everything's being cancelled, isn't it? You know.
Yeah.
UFC.
This podcast,
yeah. No, but what do you think about Dana White, the UFC owner, trying to create a fight island?
To be honest, I knew it would never fall through because it's still under restrictions.
No, he's still trying to do it though.
Yeah, but no way can he do it because he's still under government rules. Like,
Oh,
no way
okay.
can he do it.
Well,
Because just say, yeah, one of them people are coming, like one of them fighters are being, say, of like being in contact with someone, they could be a carrier and take it to another fighter, and then he could go home and affect like 3 or 4 people in his family.
and then they could go out to the shops and affect more people.
Yeah, so technically, it won't be done.
Yeah, I mean,
In my honest opinion, it's like a footballer. Like he's had coronavirus 3 times already.
Oh, bloody hell, 3 times. God.
Yeah.
It's great. So, were the other 2 times not as bad as the first time, or?
I don't know. He said, like, I think the first time he had, like, a dry cough and that.
Oh, okay.
The second time he had a sore throat. And then the third time he had, like, flu. And he still tested and he had it come back positive, so...
Awful. Well, I wish him a speedy recovery and hopefully he doesn't get it again.
And I've been watching a lot of funny TikToks as well, because that's been the thing. It's funny.
What is actually good about TikTok? I've seen some of them and they're good, but some of them just seem like such cringe nonsense, you know?
I don't watch the cringy stuff, I just watch the funny stuff, because the cringy stuff, like, it's just... Like, all I'm just saying, like... Girls know that can get boys' attention and shit. That's all I'm just saying, like, they know.
Yeah, they can get mad.
And that's not being sexist or anything, but they know they can get many likes and many... like views and that just because they reveal themselves, should I say?
They can get mad clout and fame on there.
Yeah.
You know the thing that really creeped me out with TikTok though when it first came about? There was video, I saw YouTubers reviewing it, and there was videos of like grown men doing like TikToks with kids. Like they were on one side of the screen and the kid was on the other, or the young teenager was on the other side, and I just thought,
yeah.
why isn't this site being regulated? Why is this allowed, for goodness sake?
I think that's kind of died down now, though.
Has that gone? That's good then, at least that's gone. But what other weird stuff? I suppose there's some stuff that's a bit over the top and offensive on there, but you get that with loads of stuff, I guess. But that's still a bad point, really. I don't think it has much creativity, because from what I've seen, like people
it's not much. I don't know how people can get famous and get paid to do it. Like, obviously it's their job and that's what they want to do.
Right, so they actually get paid for TikTok?
I think so, yeah. It's nothing special.
Bloody hell.
Like, it's nothing special at all. Like, it's literally not.
Like, what they're doing, though, they're just playing an audio clip and then they're doing the voiceover.
Dancing.
Yeah, they're dancing or doing a voiceover or doing body actions.
Talking or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it's annoying when celebrities go from, like, I don't know, doing a YouTube channel to, like, doing a TikTok. It's like, what are you playing at, man? Like, what is this stuff? And all these bloody TikTok dances, what's going on? Mad. Absolutely mad.
Yeah. No offence to people who actually does TikTok, like, it's fairly...
It's just
like... If you want to do it, you do it. You be you.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like a new version of Vine, really. But at least Vine had some funny stuff on it. Or maybe I found it funny because I was a kid, I was younger. Did you find Vine funny? Or was you like, nah?
I never really knew what Vine was until, like, the late stages.
Oh, man. I wish I'd said something in school, bro. I wish I'd said about Vine.
No, I never, like, probably, like, till, like, 3 or 4 years ago, then I found out what it was, and I was like, oh, that's what it is.
Well, the problem is...
To be honest, it's actually funny.
How didn't you see it on YouTube, bro? Like, it was all over the recommended and the trending.
I don't know.
Honestly. Well, fair enough. You were sort of missing out a bit. There was some really, really funny stuff on there, to be fair. It was just short clips, but at least it was creative and people were actually talking.
Yeah.
People clip. At least it was creative and then it just shows some of the worst Vines ever. But still, you know, at least it's not just a million voiceovers, but there you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, do you want to talk about the final thing, or have you got another topic you want to mention?
No, not really.
Alright then, The Mountain versus Steady Eddie Hall. What do you think?
Probably good.
I mean, The Mountain beat Eddie Hall's record by £2, 1 kg. But the thing is,
that's that's the world record for him then, isn't
No,
it?
no, no.
Really?
But Billy did it in his home gym. He didn't do it in a competitive environment. So
That's what I mean. It's his own world record. If he did it in a competitive environment, it might have been a lot better.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the Guinness Book of World Records have apparently counted it as a world record, but I think it's more important if you do it in a
To be
competitive.
fair, like even that, the Guinness World Records now, people are in there for the most stupidest things ever.
What daft things are in there?
Like some people like to headbutt like 50 watermelons in like a minute. Like what? No, have you seen it? Like
No.
that's,
No.
what's so creative about that?
I mean, I remember I had a Guinness Book of World Records in like 2010 for my birthday, and I just looked through it, and it was okay, but I do not remember any watermelon headbutting.
No, like that's like the Guinness World Records now.
Yeah, yeah.
not back
I mean,
then.
I was about to say that was 10 years ago, so.
Even the world's tallest man and the world's smallest man was in there when I last read it. Like, what's so? Yeah, fair enough. You're small and fair enough. You're big. What's so good about that? Nothing.
I mean, it's just sort of like a milestone, you know. Oh, we found someone who's 8'5". Well, hey, oh, we found someone who's 1 foot. What? You know. I'm just gonna look at weird Guinness Book of weird world records. Actually, can you think of any apart from bloody headbutting watermelons in 10 seconds? Or
And then there's like one where you balance like loads of spoons on your face and that.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, yeah.
And then there was one I watched I was watching a couple of weeks ago, and there was these Chinese people, and then I was like see how many people can get on this like small like little platform and that, and like they was all jumping on top of each other and that, and building a mountain and like huddling up to someone's legs and that. Like that's actually really creative.
Yeah, I was about to say that takes a lot of effort. So.
But to be honest, like that's still. To me, stupid, to be honest.
Billy, there's one. Nick the Lick Stowburl from California has the longest ton in the world, measuring 10.10 centimeters.
See, it's stupid.
The heaviest lifted by human beard. Okay, it's this woman holding onto this bloke's beard. She weighs 63 kg. But she's holding on to the beard. Most apples crushed by biceps.
See, stupid one.
Largest yo-yo. What the? I don't even know. Longest jump by a cat. Longest golf club. What the bloody hell is this? Yeah, it's ended. There's nothing else on here. Bloody hell, what a load of crap. What a load of irrelevant rubbish. I mean, the beard one must have hurt, but bloody hell, what a load of irrelevant crap, honestly. Anyway, back to the Mountain versus Eddie Hall. They are going to be given up until September 2021 to train. Now, I think partly the reason why they've been given ages to train is, first of all, so they can lose the weight. I mean, Eddie Hall's like 27 stone. And second of all, because of this virus, I'm guessing, and they want to make sure it steers clear away.
Yeah, fair play, man.
Yeah.
I just want to say as well, coming on to fights and that, have you seen, what's the name, you sent a link in the chat the other day, who was it now?
Mike Tyson hitting the pads?
Yeah, Mike Tyson in pads, oh my god, for 50 years old, he's sick.
Bro, you know he hasn't trained for ages. He said on the Joe Rogan podcast, he was like, I don't like the person I am when I'm training, man. I feel good, but it's like, these weren't the exact words, but it was along these lines. He's like, I prefer just relaxing and not doing much, you know. And then, because he said how he just smokes weed every day and doesn't do much. But he kept his weight in check around that time, so that was good.
But like, he apparently used to cheat, drug cheating boxing as well. A lot of people found that out.
I don't think he did roids, but he was on drugs.
That's what I mean.
He was doing coke and he was on some... But a lot of the drugs he was on, like the strong painkillers, were a disadvantage for him anyway.
Fair play.
But anyway, with Tyson though, I'm glad that he's training again. I don't want him to come back and fight Shannon Briggs or anyone, because if Tyson fights another old man, he's going to either seriously hurt them or Tyson's going to get quite hurt, you know. And I don't want to see that happening to old blokes, old geezers, to be honest. So I hope he just trains loads and trains people or commentates or, you know, analyses or does something within the world of boxing, but I don't want him to compete again. You know. But yeah, he looks amazing on the pads. He hits hard. You would not want to mess with Mr. Mike Tyson, man. Absolute killer. Insane.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway, with the Mountain versus Eddie Hall, though, I'm glad that they're beginning.
Is that UFC or boxing?
Boxing. I mean, if it was MMA, that'd be great. But the problem is MMA. There's a £265 weight limit in the UFC, so they'd have to probably. I wish they'd make a super heavyweight division in the UFC, to be honest. But
I actually want to get into UFC, but I can't be asked to get into it for some reason.
Bro, get Fight Pass, man. I think it's like £6 a month. I think you have everything on there. You have Glory Kickboxing, Absolute Muay Thai. You have a little bit of boxing. Nothing like the WBC or any of those big boxing shows, but you have quite a bit of boxing. UFC, Strikeforce, old UFC, WEC. You know, loads of grappling stuff on there as well. Just all sorts on there, man. It's class. Like EBI and Chow Submission Underground, everything. You get loads on there, bro, and the fight reality shows. I'd highly recommend it. It's sick.
Yeah, apart from that as well, with all this stuff going on, like, I've been watching a lot of anime as well. It's been sick.
Yeah. But one last thing about the Mountain and Eddie Hall. Who do you think's winning?
I don't know, because I've never seen them fight.
Oh, well, the Mountain's 6'9", long reach, weighs more. But Eddie Hall, man, when he puts his mind to something, he's got it in the bag, you know. So I'm going for Eddie Hall, knockout. The thing is, the fight should be good, but they'll probably just get gassed within 3 rounds. They're such massive blokes.
Yeah.
But yeah, out of interest, bro, what animes you been watching then? Mainly Dragon Ball or other stuff?
Yeah, just mainly Dragon Ball, because like I'm kind of a Dragon Ball Z fan, so.
What animes do you reckon you'll watch next then?
I want to get into Naruto and I want to go to the Academia, but like at the moment, like I can't be asked because I want to watch Dragon Ball.
Fair enough. Are you trying to watch the whole thing, like Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball?
Yeah. I'm just on the normal Dragon Ball at the moment, so.
Do they keep it going really well then? Because it seems like a lot of it's just loads of fight scenes, but do they manage to make it creative throughout the whole thing, or?
Yeah, they make it. Basically, they build the episodes up. So, like, basically, the first thing I was watched, the first ever fight was against Vegeta and Nappa, and like they built that fight up, and then after that, Vegeta went back onto his planet, and then Goku and all them had to get the Dragon Balls off somewhere else. Then I was came across Frieza, who's supposed to destroy the world.
Yeah.
And then Goku and Frieza started fighting, but that built it up. So basically, I don't get straight into it. They just build up the fights and that.
Okay. Fair dues.
I absolutely love it, man. Like, honestly.
Anyway.
Literally, it's one of them. I don't know how I got addicted to it, but I just love watching it.
Yeah. I mean, when you think anime, you instantly think Goku, Vegeta, Beerus, Frieza, all that.
See everyone, like most people, basically some people I know, like, you're just weird watching anime. Like, no, I'm not, because a lot of people watch it.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't come with us to see Dragon Ball Super Broly, did you? Or did you?
No, I didn't. I want to watch that, because that's on the
Anime Tube
app that I've got.
Yeah.
Like, if you want a good app, guys, yeah, go on your iPad and put Anime GT, and then you get access to all the animes. It's a amazing app. Like,
I thought you used Anime Tube Unlimited on Xbox.
I do use that as well, but like I just use Anime GT on iPad because it's way better and it's more simple.
Bro, Anime Tube Unlimited is sick though, isn't it? You get all the old anime films, you get loads of new anime stuff. It's amazing.
I do want to watch Broly.
Yeah.
As well, I want to watch that soon because that's about an hour long in it or something like that.
Yeah, like an hour and 20, I think, hour and 30. The thing is, Bill, from my perspective as a film fan, it's a decent film, you know, it's half decent. But as a Dragon Ball fan, I can imagine if it's making film, people think, yeah, half decent. I can imagine Dragon Ball fans are probably like, this is epic. So, you'll love it, bro.
It's something that, like, when I get older, I'd make my children watch. Like,
Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Like, because it's actually sick.
Yeah, I mean, when you were saying about people saying, "Oh, why'd you watch anime?" The thing is, I feel like a lot of us would have been like that at first, because when you know, anime, you think like weeaboos or weebs or whatever who are just like crazy, who are just like anime freaks who like smell bad. But in reality, a lot of people watch anime and they're not obsessed. They watch other stuff and it's half decent, you know.
Obviously, I watch other films and that. Like, I don't just watch anime.
Yeah, yeah. So
I don't watch. It's not like I watch it every day. It's just like I watch it when I want to watch it,
exactly, bro.
and it sorts of calms you down, and you get in the mood in that.
Anyway, have you got anything else you want to say? I think we can wrap up there nicely. Have you got any closing statements or?
Just the closing statements, like I said in the beginning of the video, and that. Just this lockdown's on. Just try and stay safe and keep active and that, because it's not fair on us to keep in this lockdown any longer, because it's affecting businesses, it's affecting families, it's affecting the whole world. So just please stay in.
Yeah, good advice. Yeah, as Billy says, stay in. You know, do what the government say, and hopefully we'll be out of this soon. And as Billy said earlier, hopefully we'll be stronger from it. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.